back at Villa Park. Come on, the Villa!
Hello and welcome to Up the Villa podcast. If you're new, please subscribe. And if you do watch us and you're not subscribed, again, please subscribe because you'll help us grow massively. But obviously, before we start, it was just amazing that we had 10,000 Villa fans at Villa Park today. It sounded like there was 30,000 in there at times that, they were that loud. And it was just fantastic for them to see us get the win over Chelsea. Brilliant performance. I thought first half we had to ride our luck a little bit, but the more the game went on, we grew into the second half and came away 2-1 winners, finished the season in great form, beating Spurs as well. It's been great to see Chukwuemeka get on. He had 20 minutes today, which was fantastic. But absolutely just delighted the way we finished the season. 55 points, great total compared to last season. Real good progress. Buzzing that we've beat another big team. Delighted that we've got Howard on tonight. So how did you make of the game today, Howard?
Hi, Luke and everybody. I thought it was a fantastic occasion. To see Aston Villa fans back in Villa Park was just awesome. I was very jealous because I wasn't there. I wasn't one of the lucky ones, but it was great. I thought, there was 10,000 in there, but they made plenty of noise. It must have been such a boost for the players. And, I thought that Chelsea would, before the game, I thought they probably had too much for us. In the first 20 minutes, certainly looked that way. But we rode out the storm. They missed a couple of good chances and we grew into the game. And by the end of the game, I think, we deserved the win. And it was what a great way to finish the season, beating Spurs and Chelsea.
Like you say, it was just a great performance from us. And for some of them players, the new signings like Watkins, Martinez, to see Villa Park, even with 10,000 fans, must have been a fantastic sight. So what have you made of Villa this season then, Howard?
Well, I mean, overall, you look at it, 55 points. That's a fantastic improvement on 35, isn't it? 20 extra points in the Premier League. Terrific. You just can't underestimate how difficult that is. And okay, yes, the first half of the season was exceptional. I mean, we really look one of the best teams in the league at times. And beating the likes of the reigning champions, Liverpool 7-2 and going Arsenal and winning so easily and, real early highlights. We were checked back a bit with the COVID outbreak and just I think in general, you're going to plateau at some point. You can't go from staying up by the skin of your teeth one season to like going to the Champions League the next season. I mean, that would have been beyond our wildest dreams. So 55 points is exceptional and, very unlucky to only finish 11th with 55 points. I mean, I've known Villa in certain seasons, like one under John Gregory when he came in. Justin, you'll remember it. Well, you'll all remember it when Brian Little left, and we were struggling, and then Gregory won like 9 out of the last 11 games and went from relegation candidates to finishing 7th. But we only had 56 points, and we qualified for Europe with 56 points. And I think when we finished 6th under O'Leary, we only had 58, I think. So 55 and not be in the top half is very unlucky. I mean, you see Newcastle somehow managed to finish 12th. But they're on 45. So there's a huge gap. It's a 10-point gap. So we've gone from like staying up by the skin of our teeth to overtaking half the division comfortably and very close to finishing much higher. To finish, it was the danger of petering out a little bit with that Palace result. The last week's been brilliant, and means that we all go into next season with added confidence, and let's hope they have another great summer in the market.
I think, like you say as well, it's been great, the position that we finished in the league, but also to beat some of the teams that we have this season. That shows massive progress. You know, the likes of beating Leicester, Liverpool, Arsenal, Chelsea, Spurs. You know, these are the top teams in this division for many, many years, and we've been able to sort of close the gap on a lot of them and play exceptionally well at times against them. So delighted to have Kay back on as well. What did you make of the game today, Kay?
Yeah, I mean, it was brilliant, wasn't it? I think they found that inner energy with the crowd there, the 12th man, and were able to really grind out the result there. I mean, their quality showed in the first 20 minutes. And let's be honest, this was a Chelsea team that had everything to play for that we were going up against. It wasn't kind of end of the season exhibition stuff. This was a proper full-on match. You know, I thought Jack was going to get himself sent off in the first 10 minutes. He put in a couple of challenges, and the ref had to have a word with him, and then he sort of calmed himself down a bit. But it was, you know, after we rode the storm, the first kind of 25 minutes, it then sort of evened itself out, and then we got a foothold in the game, and a great goal from Bertrand Traoré. I mean, this shown what he's capable of. And then, yeah, the second half, we managed to continue that momentum. We did kind of, you know, ride our luck a little bit, but I thought the lads played brilliantly today. They dug in. It was the Villa of the first half of the season, you know, never say die, protecting the lead, not kind of capitulating like we have done, you know, in the last couple of months. And I think the defence was absolutely exceptional, and you know, my guy Marvelous and Nakamba made a difference today. He got Sky's man of the match as well. I think you know, it was just a great performance all round. My dad was also at the game, so he was buzzing. He drove all the way from South London to go to the game, so a big shout out to that man. Yeah, so he's actually a season ticket holder, and he lives in South East London. So that goes to show, you know, the Villa blood through us, even though we've all got South London accents. But yeah, it was brilliant. Loved it, absolutely loved it. Great way to finish the season. Again, beating Chelsea, we don't do that very often. Beating Spurs, we don't do that very often. So kind of really not allowing these teams to take 6 points off us is what I'm really looking at. I'm seeing the progress there, you know. There was only a handful of teams that managed to do that. And we were able to get points off the big boys, you know, bar the Manchester clubs. We took points off pretty much all of them.
Yeah, fantastic. And one player that's, you know, I've had an eye on this season for the under-18s is Chukwuemeka. He's came on again today. He's got 20 minutes. He's had 2 wins every time he's been on the pitch. For me, I just really love watching him play. I think he's going to be a great player for the future. Justin, what did you make of the game today?
Yeah, I echo what the lads have said, really. You know, the season was petering out, wasn't it, up until the Wednesday night? But I'm just so pleased we finished the season on a high, because those 2 wins, there has been murmurings by a minority of the fans about the manager and bits and bobs, but I think that puts it solely to bed now. We can really concentrate on a good summer, not even a rebuild, you know, 1 or 2 decent players coming in to bolster the squad. And I think what 11th place does, whilst I think we're all that little bit disappointed that we didn't nick into the top half, what it does is allows more growth next season. You know, we've got 10 places to aim at now, and I think with a really good summer ahead, a few more additions to the squad, I think we can really comfortably push into that top half. The game was a bit like we say in the first 20 minutes, we was just trying to get a foothold in it, you know, and like Kay said, you know, Chelsea didn't know at the start of the game, and they needed a win. You know, they counterverted to beat us and get that top 4. So they're lucky, really, that Tottenham have done them a favour today. But I think to show that, to put the performance in that we did against a team that did have something to play for, it just shows what we're all about, doesn't it? You know, Smith has really done one over a few of these so-called better foreign managers, and you know, he's proven what a good manager he is. And massive shout out to Marvelous Nakamba. What a performance he put in today. You know, the lad is. he's a bit of an enigma with the Villa fans, isn't he? Because nobody really shouts from the rooftops about him. But when he comes in, he does really put these performances in where you just think, Jesus, if he played like that every single week, you know, you wouldn't want to buy another holding midfielder, would you? Because he does everything. He gets around the pitch. His energy's really good. He puts a foot in. You know, his use for the ball is good as well, even though I don't think he's got a massively long passing range, but he very rarely gives the ball away. And he's so enthusiastic. He gets around the pitch well. And a bit similar to Target as well, you know, first player, I think, since Downing that's played every single minute of every league game in a season. And he was throwing himself at everything as well. What a season he's had. That's without
players
talking about...
as well, hasn't he?
Did he get played? I know that Martinez got the supporters player. I didn't know he got the players player. So that, yeah, I mean, we haven't even touched on the signings that have come in and been brilliant. Cash, Martinez, Ollie Watkins, Bertrand Traore. You know, if we can't be excited and chuffed to bits about that season, then we shouldn't be supporting the club because it was phenomenal. And one other thing, we finally scored off a corner. Thank God for that.
I mean, one thing that's mad as well is that the season's finished now. To me, it feels like it's only just getting started. But so moving forward then, Howard, moving into next season, where would you say we need to strengthen, and what are your thoughts on how far you feel like Villa can go?
I think Justin's just made a really good point, actually, that although we would have loved us to finish a bit higher, because I think we all think that 55 points nearly always means higher normally, and we just think that we're a bit better than 11th. I don't think it's quite a justified finish on. I think you do deserve to finish ultimately where you finish over 38. But what Justin just said is a really good point, is that it gives a bit of, if we finished 8th or 7th now, where do you go from there? You know, it's like it gets harder and harder. Whereas if we finish 8th or 7th next season, hopefully it will keep, you know, the fickle hits away.
You don't sound convincing there, Howard. You're trying to convince yourself.
Well, come on, we've been following this club a long time. We know what a small element, as you said, a small element. But so in terms of, I don't, as you said as well, Justin, I don't think we need major surgery at all. I think that would be disruptive, but you know, you just want to keep increasing the quality and seeing where, you know, we have had some bad performances this season. We can't ignore those. I think, funnily enough, we've talked about how good we've been against some of the teams above us. We've struggled, you know, against the Brightons of this world and the Burnleys. I know. I don't know how the hell we only got 1 point off Burnley when you look at the two games. I mean, you know, we absolutely battered them at Villa Park and battered them for most of the game at their place and got, you know, got 1 point. Look, we've been very lucky with Watkins and injuries. I don't think we've got enough cover up front. I know we've got Wesley coming back and obviously Keenan. I don't know what you do with Keenan. I mean, does he go out on loan next season? Because, you know, his progress is going to stall a little bit if he doesn't. Because, you know, I would love to see some Abraham. You can see why people would like him because he's been so, you know, he had such a great spell with us before, and he has proven at Chelsea that he can score lots of goals at Premier League level. But I don't think Dean particularly will go for him because, you know, Watkins is his main man and Abraham isn't going to sign to come on the bench. He doesn't want to play two centre forwards most of the time. So it's tricky, isn't it, who you sign up front that will come in and challenge Watkins and be good enough to potentially improve us. But so maybe you need better quality in the wide positions. Although, again, Traore, little bit of an enigma. He can be magnificent. As again today, I thought he was fantastic for a lot of the game. Our main sort of attacking threat at times in the first half, in particular. He does go a bit wandering off with his defensive duties. I mean, you know, Chilwell in both games has just been allowed to run, you know, free basically at both Stamford Bridge and at Villa Park. But yeah, so maybe maybe a really good schemer for the midfield, maybe somebody, you know, somebody that can unlock defences a bit more. But it's hard, you know, it's hard when you've got players that have all played well. It's a bit hard to think, you know, you want to bring in, and potentially drop those players for new players. But yeah, if you want to get to Chelsea's level, I know we beat them today, but you could see their quality, then you do have to keep thinking about a squad and raising the level of your quality. So 2 or 3 top quality signings if we can, but don't block the youth. You've got to keep encouraging the likes of Carney to come through. You know,
great stuff. So I'll ask you, what would you say has been your highlight of the season?
I think you can't get away from the Liverpool game. I mean, the 7th. I mean, it was just I mean, I've been supporting Villa since they wore this shirt, so like that goes back to the mid to late 70s. And one of my very first memories as a Villa fan was when we beat them 5-1 at Villa Park in 1976. And we've not got close to ever doing anything like that again against Liverpool. And so to do that this season, and it was, the similar sort of trouncing. I mean, it wasn't a fluke. We absolutely battered them. And Van Dijk was playing, let's not forget. And, it was just such a shame that fans weren't there. But yeah, that will always live in my memory. So lots of great memories of the season, but that's definitely the highlight.
I'd say it's mine as well. So, Kay, who would you say was your moment of the season?
My moment of the season, aside from the 7-2, and there's a lot of great moments. Doing the double over Arsenal is another big one. But for me, it's avenging Leeds and being able to beat Leeds without Jack Grealish on the pitch. I know it was a really tough game. It was ugly. And we only just beat them, but we were disciplined, and it really felt good, kind of getting our revenge back on them. So I'd say that was my highlight.
Great stuff, Justin.
I've just enjoyed the season, if I'm honest. At the start of this season, after just scraping up, and yes, we made some what we all thought would be astute signings, but you never know till the season starts, do you? So I think my highlight of the season was those first 4 games when we won them all. I mean, to start any season like that, but a Premier League season like that, set the tone immediately, and we've just pushed on from there. Yeah, we've had a blip and we've had problems, but everybody has problems. No team goes through a season without having a blip. So for me, I've just enjoyed the whole season. I really have. I think to have our Villa back, I said it early in the season. Now we've finished the season, we can draw a line in the sand now. We're 11th in the Premier League. So for me, that's the minimum position any year we should be finishing as Aston Villa Football Club. Yeah, I know I've got my glasses on and I know I'm biased, but we're a big club. I'm fed up of talking about the top 6 and the big 6 and the Super League. We need now to push into that area, and that's where we're going, and that's where I firmly believe we are going. Within the next 2 or 3 seasons, we'll be pushing. So I've just loved the whole season, and I can't wait for it to carry on.
And another finishing point for me is it just certainly feels like we are getting our Aston Villa back. And we're getting back to where we belong. And I think, this sort of season, we've turned a few heads around the world of football, or whether it's pundits or fans of other teams. It certainly feels like everybody knows that Aston Villa means business. So for me, I just want to say thanks to all the viewers and listeners this season. We've had a great time doing this for everybody. It's been our first full season as a podcast as well. So thanks, everybody. But we're not going to stop here. We're coming back in the summer. We're going to be covering the Euros. And we've also got lots of different content coming out. So thanks to all the guests, Howard, Kay, Justin. It's been great, but thank you. And up the Villa.
Up the Villa.